John Dickerson joins us now. John, good to see you. You know, listen, Cassidy Hutchinson gave us a lot to process yesterday. I couldn't turn it off yesterday. What was your big takeaway as you watched?
The biggest takeaway, Gayle, is the idea that President Trump knew that he was basically, that there was overwhelming evidence that this was going to be a violent day, that he was getting information from all different corners, and then specifically that he was told at the start of the day, very early in the day, that there were people armed in the crowd, and that each time he was given one of these warnings, he didn't do what a president is supposed to do, which is make things safer, but he made things less safe, that he created more destabilization, and that it could have been far more violent on that day than it was.
Well, the former president has weighed in. Scott touched on it briefly. He says Cassidy is a very negative person. He barely knows her. She's phony. She's a leaker. She's very angry. Do you have any reason, from what you heard yesterday, are you hearing any reason to question her credibility?
Well, she was under oath. She also testified at a time where there's a high cost to testifying. In the old script of American politics, if you're a hero and you come forward and you stand up in a moment of testing of your character, everybody rallies around and calls you a hero. At the current moment, particularly in Republican politics, you are ostracized. You are threatened with violence. So there's a high penalty to testifying. So under oath, under the violent conditions, all of which suggests that it means there's a weight on telling the truth. But recollections can vary, and it's the committee's job and all of our job to make sure that whatever Cassidy Hutchinson said lines up with other testimony. This has been a long series of hearings. There will be many more, and there are other people who can corroborate, some of whom haven't come forward, who can nail this down. Because you can imagine it might be hard to remember the precision of that day, although she had notes and so forth else, when it was pretty hectic inside the White House.
John, as we learn more details about what happened on that day, many Americans are sitting at home wondering what's next. So can this new testimony open up a case for the Justice Department to charge former President Trump with a crime?
If they were to do so, the key thing to focus on from yesterday's testimony was the idea that President Trump knew that there were guns in the crowd. He knew that violence was more likely even than we had previously thought. And he pushed and pushed and pushed to whip up the mob and push to make it easier for the mob to do its work. There's also some evidence in the testimony that there was a closer connection between the White House and the Proud Boys and these other groups that came to Washington at the president's request. He called everybody to Washington for this rally. That there was a closer connection between the White House and those who came to do mayhem. Those would be two avenues worth pursuing if they were trying to build a case against the president.
Yeah, I would imagine people are searching Cassidy Hutchinson's trash cans and digging up in her background right now. She gave us a lot to unpack yesterday. John, thank you very much.